Okay, welcome back everybody. Hope you all had a good week. We're here to talk about House of the Dragon Episode 2. Before we get started, I'm just stalling, waiting for a few more people to find the stream, because YouTube still won't let me schedule these things for some reason. I just want to thank all the new people who are here. We've gotten a nice little bump in new subscribers from those She-Hulk videos. I think we're slightly over 400 new subs on just those two videos alone. So thank you very much if you're just finding the channel. Thank you if you're tuning in for the first time. The way this works is I'm going to go through the whole episode and give my thoughts, and then we'll do super chats and screw around at the end. So if you have super chats, if you want to donate something to help out the channel, get them in now. I'll get to everybody after we talk about the episode. In the meantime, why don't you... Alright, someone in the chat is saying they can't see or hear anything. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat room if you can hear me. Hang on. Alright, someone is saying they can't see or hear me. Alright, we can hear you. Alright. Good. Maybe it's just the video. If you can't see my face right now, it's because I'm speaking through an avatar. Because when I have the video on, I tend to have buffering issues. And this seems to eliminate that. So that's how we're doing streaming, at least until I get a new computer. Because this computer is has got a few miles on it at this point. And it's starting to get a little bit glitchy sometimes. So, new computer might be necessary in the not too distant future, but we're not there yet. This one, does what I need it to do for now. Still, we're sticking with this one, even if it means I have to speak through an avatar. So, let's get to the topic of discussion today. Let me move this around here. Move this over here. Okay. Alright, so, House of the Dragon Episode 2. I liked this one better than the first one. I'm still struggling with a lot of the names. And they still need a really strong central protagonist to build around, which they currently do not have. It's still not really grabbing me by the balls like Game of Thrones did. But the story's taken shape a little bit. The roles of the various characters are getting a little bit more clear. So that's encouraging. We have a title sequence now. We didn't have that last week. And it's really great. YouTube... not YouTube, what am I thinking? HBO, rather, really broke the bank on all aspects of this show. Title sequence is no exception. It's fantastic. It's the blood of the dragon flowing through all these tunnels and hallways and stuff. It is the same theme song to Game of Thrones, though. And it's a great theme song, but it's a different show. Change it up. Let the show have its own identity, you know what I mean? It'd be nice if the show had its own theme song. I'm not sure why they're reusing this one. They didn't even remix it. It's the same exact song used over again. Like, at least, like, remix it or something. Very strange. So, anyway, this episode picks up, like, 6 months after the first one. And apparently episode 3 is going to skip ahead, like, several years. So the timeline is kind of weird here. I don't know why they're going so fast. Maybe they're skipping to the major events in Fire and Blood or whatever. It's all linear, apparently, so they don't seem to be going back and forth like Season 1 of The Witcher did, for example. So it shouldn't be confusing or anything. I just thought it was odd, because a lot of stuff is happening in between episodes. So, this one starts, and, right off the bat, we find out that Daemon seized Dragonstone and has been occupying it for half a year. So this happened right after the events of the first episode, and then we fast forward to 6 months later. And all that happened off camera. I mean, they could have done several episodes of that. I don't know why we skipped ahead so much. Couldn't we have seen that and then skip ahead to this point? I don't know, it feels like they're leaving a lot of stuff on the table here. And again, episode 3, we pick up, I don't know how many years later. You know, at least 2 or 3 years. And imagine how much stuff is going to happen in that time. It's very... I don't know why they're doing it this way. So, anyway, the episode starts with some kind of shipwreck, with the bodies of the crew being eaten by crabs. And there's so many fucking crabs. Oh my god, you'd think like a fishing boat or something would come along and scoop these things up. They'd make a fortune. There's thousands of them all over this place. Where'd all these crabs come from? So from there we cut to a small council meeting where they're talking about needing a new member of the King's Guard. Apparently, like, one of the members passed away. And then the one black man on the show comes in. Lord Corliss, I think it's pronounced. He comes in very angry about a bunch of his ships getting attacked by pirates. The king is reluctant to start a war with the free cities over this, and he has been trying to smooth things over using diplomatic channels, but Corliss thinks a show of force is necessary. I don't know, I'm kind of with Corliss on this one. I mean, if his ships are getting ransacked and his people killed off, I mean, that's less money in his pocket. You know, someone's, committing piracy here. I mean, you kind of need to deal with this. And the Princess Rhaenyra, she kind of agrees with me. She's there. She's still the cupbearer for some reason. I don't know why they have her doing this stuff. I mean, I guess they need a reason for her to be in the scene, but I mean, she is the heir to the throne currently. I mean, you'd think she'd be there on general principles, but they still got her doing this busy work. I mean, isn't this servant stuff? Yeah, so sound off on this in the chat room. I'd be interested to see what you guys think about this. I mean, don't they have servants to do this type of thing? She speaks up, suggesting that they should send in their dragon riders to fix this situation. Corliss likes that idea, but the king is not so receptive, and instead the princess is put in charge of choosing the new King's Guard instead. So she looks at a bunch of knights, and we see that Dornish guy from last week, Sir Criston. He's the only one with real battle experience, and as an added bonus, he's also a cute boy. So that makes the choice easy. Rhaenyra picks him pretty quickly. Cut to the king, playing with his Legos and his action figures. The princess's friend is there. Alicent, I think. I'm really bad with names, bear with me. Apparently the two of them have been quote-unquote talking since last episode. So this is a thing that's still going on. She tells him how his daughter is doing since he's having trouble relating to her since the mom died. She encourages him to make an attempt to communicate and stuff. He asks her to not speak with Rhaenyra about the talks the two of them have been having, because Rhaenyra wouldn't understand. So there's something between them, the king and Alicent. It's not clear exactly what it is, or what Alicent is feeling about all this. Whether she's doing it to please her father, or whether she actually does like the king, or whether she secretly just wants to be queen herself, or if it's a little bit of everything. Not really sure, but there's something there. I just don't know what it is. Also, the king drops one of his action figures and breaks it because his hand is bothering him. We later find out that the infection has spread to his hand, and the maesters are using creative methods to keep him from losing a finger. So Alicent and the princess talk in the sept. Gorgeous set here, holy moly. Rhaenyra is uncomfortable that her father is being pressured to remarry and replace her as the heir, and she's only the heir in the first place because the only other option was a sadistic asshole, but Alicent assures her that her dad loves her, and they do some praying, and the princess gets a little emotional. She wants the king to see her as more than his little girl. Alicent thinks she might have to make the effort if she wants that to change. Then they do some hand-holding, and there's something here, too. It's subtle, but it's there. They hinted at it last week, too. I think it's mostly on Rhaenyra's side, but, who knows. The king meets with Corlys and his wife, who is the king's cousin, who the former king passed on as his heir. They all apologize for tempers running hot earlier, but Corlys points out that the realm is vulnerable because of all the stuff going on right now, and he proposes a solution of joining their two houses with the king marrying their daughter, so as to produce a male heir. There is some practicality to this, but Corlys is clearly very ambitious and envious of the king's position, so that's a part of it too. The king is reluctant to consider this since his wife hasn't even been dead that long, and he really did love her, so he's, not over that still. But he knows that something does need to be done about this situation, so he's not taken the option off the table yet. He has dinner with Rhaenyra. They try to have a conversation, but they can't really make that connection yet. The king still isn't really listening to her about using the Dragon Riders, so not taking her counsel seriously. Later, the king has his hand in a bowl of maggots to eat away all the dead flesh on his finger, because the infection is spreading and there's a chance he might lose the finger. Considering the way it looks, they might just want to lop that thing off at this point. More talking. The king worries about what Rhaenyra would think about him taking a new wife. He asks Hightower what he thinks about this situation. The maester thinks the king marrying Corlys' daughter Laena makes a lot of sense, but Hightower tries to subtly discourage this because Hightower's been quietly trying to install his own daughter in there, pointing out that Laena is very young, and he really doesn't envy the position the king is in. And I don't envy him either, because then we cut to him talking with Laena, and Laena is fucking 12. He's got to be, 40s or 50s, and she hasn't even hit puberty yet. And here they are talking about a possible marriage, and how, she wouldn't have to have sex with him until she's 14. This whole scene is so fucking creepy. To his credit, the king seems super uncomfortable with all this, but holy shit. At least Hightower's daughter is a teenager. So, she's got puberty in her rear view, but am I the only one who thinks these parents grooming their kids for the king is just really, really gross? Yeah, that's the world they're living in, but still, this whole thing was, ugh. Oh, I felt gross just watching it. Oh, so weird. Rhaenyra's observing the two of them talk from a window. Corlys' wife, Rhaenys is there, the queen who never was. They talk about this. Rhaenys is quite sure that it's only a matter of time before the king remarries and produces a male heir, and the realm will demand that the male heir sit on the Iron Throne and not Rhaenyra. So, she is technically installed as the heir, but I guess that's something they can take back. And, because the realm already had a chance to put a woman on the Iron Throne, and they denied her. Because Rhaenys was technically next in line for the throne, but the king passed her over and went with, the cousin instead. And she's super resentful about this, still. And Rhaenyra tries to act confident about her position, but the seed of doubt is in there. And watching this scene, I couldn't help thinking, is Rhaenys supposed to be Hillary Clinton? I'm getting serious Hillary vibes here. Maybe I'm just imagining it, but the situation is weirdly similar. And well, there is a lot of talking here. I would say more so than the first episode. At least the first episode had that big jousting tournament, to put some kind of action in there. But wow, it's all talking here. It gets off to a very slow start. The king talks with Alicent. She doesn't dissuade him from marrying Lena, but assures him that, Lena would enjoy his company, as she has, wink. Then she gives him a present. She had the stonemasons fix his action figure for him. Isn't that nice? He's touched, and I still don't know what Alicent's angle here is. Is she doing this for her father, for the king, for herself? Maybe she doesn't even know. Excuse me. But this moment's interrupted. They have to hold an emergency small council meeting because somehow, don't ask me how, and they didn't show us how, but Daemon has stolen a dragon egg out from under their noses. Also, he left a note. He is taking a second wife so he can marry his whore. That's the girl from last week. And she's pregnant. And the egg he stole is the one that was going to be put in the cradle of the baby who died. So this is a big move, and they need to act on it. Apparently, I guess that's a Targaryen tradition. They put a dragon egg in the cradle of a baby, and I guess the dragon imprints on the baby, possibly? I don't know. Anyway, the king is really pissed off here. He wants to go to Dragonstone himself and deal with this, but Hightower says, no, I can't let you do that. It's too dangerous. Let me go instead. So Alicent is helping her dad get ready. He mentions that she's the prettiest girl at court, so why does she have to bite her fingernails? Apparently that's a thing that she does as like a nervous tick or something. So why bite your nails? That's not nice. You're making your fingers look all crappy like. Then he asks if she'll be seeing the king tonight. She says that she will if he wishes it, and she looks uncomfortable, but Alicent is very hard to read. If you put a gun to my head, I'd say that she doesn't want to do this, and it's just to please her father, but I don't know. If a part of her didn't want to do this, I feel like she'd say something or to someone, or maybe that's just not the way she's wired. Who knows? There's still a lot we need to find out about this. So Hightower takes the King's Guard to Dragonstone. They meet Daemon there. Incredible visuals here, I have to say. Like, wow. I can't even imagine what the budget is for this show. But it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like this big, this stone bridge, walkway. It's like this elevated stone thing that they're walking on. And it's like surrounded by mist, and there's this big castle off in the distance. It looks gorgeous. And there's a standoff between, because these two, of course, never liked each other. Hightower orders Daemon to end this charade, to surrender the egg, surrender Dragonstone, surrender the gold cloaks. He's not budging. Swords are drawn. But before any fighting actually starts, Daemon's dragon shows up. All threatening-like, so Hightower's not in a great position here. He can't deal with a dragon. But then Rhaenyra shows up on her own dragon to even the odds. She lands on the wall bridge thing, talks to Daemon herself. She's skeptical about whether his whore is actually pregnant. I'm not sure if she knows something we don't, but, the whole... But the whore, Mysaria, is uncomfortable, and she leaves at this. Then the princess explains that she's the reason Daemon was disinherited, so if he wants to be restored as the heir, he'll have to kill her. She basically dares him to do it. So Daemon considers his options here, and then backs down, tossing her the egg over his shoulder. And later, Mysaria is not pleased with Daemon because this is the first she's hearing about any marriage or pregnancy. In fact, she took steps a long time ago to ensure that she could never get pregnant. I don't think I need any details about how she did that. Yikes. Anyway, she's really pissed off because, she's been bought and sold, she's been through a lot of shit in her life and whatnot, and the whole reason she's with Daemon was because she wanted to be liberated from fear, but now he's put her in a really precarious situation where she's basically got a target on her back. Because Daemon has made a claim to the Iron Throne, and, some people would say he's got a pretty decent claim. He's also a male, so a lot of people in Westeros would want his claim to be the real one regardless. So Daemon's child, which everyone now thinks he has, everyone now thinks she's pregnant with, would be seen by some as the more legitimate heir to the throne. So, yeah, it's a tough spot for her to be in, and she's not even actually pregnant. All pretty good stuff here. There's still no action, but it's good character work. They're moving the story along. I like Rhaenyra being more proactive than she was last week. I'm still not getting a lot from the actress, but the character is showing some backbone, which is a good sign. Matt Smith is still outshining everyone, though, and it's not close. So the king is playing with the action figure that Alicent had fixed for him. He's mulling over a lot of things. And he talks to one of the dudes on the small council looking for advice. The guy thinks him marrying Laena makes a lot of sense. Her family's rich. She comes from good Valyrian stock. She's got Targaryen blood. The realm may be looking at war of some kind in the Stepstones, and her dad is the master of ships, so it would be very helpful to have him as an ally. So, what's not to like? It all makes a lot of sense. And the king is like, well, she's fucking 12 for starters. I'm paraphrasing, and that's what I'd say. Why that isn't a bigger issue... excuse me. Why that isn't a bigger issue is still bothering me. But it is what it is. I mean, if you want her to be like the official fiance or like king's consort or something, okay, but why you would even arrange a marriage at this age that is it's so creepy. The king is still really uncomfortable with the whole thing, but the guy points out that Corlys is very envious of his position, and it's likely nothing short of a line to the throne would satisfy him, and denying him that puts the realm in danger for a whole host of reasons. And, he lists them off, and he's not really wrong about any of this. The guy strongly encourages the king to marry Laena, which does seem to be the decision that would help smooth over all this stuff. Regardless of how creepy it is. Then a messenger comes in to tell the king that the princess has returned from Dragonstone, which he had no idea she was even there. He's really mad. You lied to me. You're my only heir. You could have been killed. She points out that she did get the egg back without bloodshed, which Hightower probably would not have been able to do. And the king has to kind of begrudgingly admit that she did sort of, save their asses here, even if he doesn't save that outright. So they finally have a real conversation about Rhaenyra's mom and how they both miss her, how the king hadn't realized that his daughter had, grown up when he wasn't paying attention, and he understands that he has to take and she understands that he's the king and it's his duty to take a new wife, but he doesn't intend to replace her as the heir. She is the only heir right now, however, which leaves them vulnerable. So, he needs to strengthen his line as a duty to the realm. Because the more potential heirs he has, the safer, better off they're going to be. Rhaenyra understands this, and her mother would have understood too, so that seems to settle things between them. It looks like they've got their issues worked out. Until the next day, when the king informs the small council that he intends to marry Alicent. You know, she did fix his toy for him, I guess, so she's got the inside track. Plus, she's already gone through puberty, so I guess this was the slightly less gross of the two options. I'm not sure why there were only two. You'd think there would be more options on the table, but there were only two for some reason. I don't know, you'd think every, family, every lord or wealthy family in the realm would be presenting all their comely daughters to the king and trying to make cases for them, but apparently not. It was between these two. There's a look that passes between Alicent and Rhaenyra. Alicent looks guilty, like she knows how Rhaenyra is gonna feel about this, and it doesn't make her happy. Whether that subtle hint of attraction Rhaenyra obviously felt for Alicent is acknowledged between them, I don't know. But it seems obvious that Rhaenyra is not entirely straight and was harboring some kind of non-straight feelings for Alicent, so this cuts her pretty deep, and she leaves quickly. Corlys ain't happy either. He thinks the whole thing is a farce, is a huge insult to him. He takes off too. And later, we see him talking to someone, and it's filmed in such a way that the person he's talking to is like some kind of big, shocking reveal, or at least it's supposed to be. I don't know why. It's obviously Daemon. I mean, who else would it be? So Corlys is going on about how his family is older than even the Targaryens, but they didn't have dragons, so they had to work that much harder to attain power. When he came to power, he knew what he wanted, so he went out and seized it. And he always felt like him and Daemon were cut from the same cloth, so to speak. So he explains how the shipping lanes are fucked up because of this crab-feeder pirate asshole who keeps messing with him, attacking his ships, killing his crews. He wants to send in the Navy to take this guy out, but the king won't do it. So, if Daemon were to deal with this situation, that would be a great way to prove his worth and, get the people of the realm on his side. And we see the crab beater guy killing a bunch of dudes, looking all creepy and shit with a fucked up face covered with a mask of some kind. And that's where it ends. And the next episode, I guess, is going to jump like 2 or 3 years ahead. So this crab beater thing could be going on for a while, because like in the preview for the next episode, he's still very much a thing. I guess there's going to be, some fighting. Daemon is sending his people in to deal with this guy, and there's going to be a whole big thing. So yeah, that's going to be a while. This was a good episode. Again, I preferred this to the premiere. It's still very slow-paced. There's a whole lot of talking before anything really happens, and even then, it's still mostly just more talking. But the story's moving now, albeit slowly. You can kind of see where things are headed, even if it has taken a while to get there. I think this is going to be a process where they have to set up a lot of dominoes before they can knock them down. Kind of like in Game of Thrones, where Season 1 was just kind of laying the groundwork until Ned got his head lopped off, and then after that, things really started to cook. But Game of Thrones still had more interesting stuff happening during Season 1. So I don't think the shit's really gonna hit the fan until later. What kicks it off, I think, will be the king dying. Considering his health, that looks like where they're headed with this. I don't expect he'll be around very long. Again, I haven't read Fire and Blood or anything, but I would think that they'll Ned Stark him by the end of this season. And my guess will... My guess is all the super interesting stuff is probably going to happen after that. Because that's when, they finally have to answer all the big questions. Like, who's going to sit on the Iron Throne? Will it be this person or that person? If it's this person, then A, B, and C won't be happy. If it's that person, D, E, F won't be happy, and it'll lead to conflicts and civil wars and stuff, and so on. So there's no real there's no real good option here. It's all varying degrees of complicated. So we'll see. I feel like Season 1 is likely going to be mostly set up for all the events that we kind of want to see later. It can still be good setup, though. I didn't love the premiere, but I did like it. And this was better, I thought. So, if it keeps going in this direction, we should have something good here. It looks like tensions are being ratcheted up slowly, and emotions are being heightened, again, slowly. We're getting some more action in the next episode, so I'm still on board to watch this week to week. Might not stay that way. Might not stay that way, considering we also got Rings of Power coming up soon, and I'm going to have to do something on that show. Whether it's streaming or reviewing it, I don't know, because we also got She-Hulk, which is, taking up a lot of my time as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Alright. Let's see what you guys are saying about this. Viserys sucks as a king. Yeah, kind of. I think I know, is it a thing in this franchise that anybody named Viserys would just it's just a bad king? Like they get passed up for all the good genes? Like, I appreciate that he doesn't want to go to war, but the guy is very passive. I mean, you can push him into getting angry, but even then, he backs down pretty easily. Your thoughts on Megan Thee Stallion being on She-Hulk? I don't really have any. I never heard of the person. Apparently, she's famous. I guess she does music or something. I don't know. I don't really care. It's gonna skip about a year and a half. This whole first season will have time skips, but once we get to the Dance of the Dragon Season 2, there will be smaller jumps. Alright. So are they just doing, like, the major events of Fire and Blood, or is this how the book was structured? Because I haven't read it, but I know, like, the book... I know, like, Fire and Blood is kind of like a history text of, like, the Targaryen dynasty, or whatever. So is it just... Does that book just cover the big events, or is there stuff they're skipping over here? Because I know that was only, like, part 1, and there's, like, another, like, 800-pager coming of Fire and Blood. So if they keep skipping around or skipping ahead, are they gonna have to start making up their own stuff before too long? Because in the preview for episode 3, Alicent had already given birth to the king's firstborn son, and that kid looked not a newborn or anything. I don't know, maybe the kid looked about a year old. So, the king isn't, wasting any time producing an heir. Aegon the second or third is born by Alicent and Viserys. Alright. New male heir creates more conflict. Mm-hmm. You'd think it would eliminate conflict, though. Because the conflict is because, the realm is not confident in the strength of the crown with a female heir, and so you've got this less legitimate but male heir in Daemon stirring up shit. But now, if there's an official male heir, wouldn't that solve this problem? Or maybe in the year and a half since episode 2, maybe people have started to get on Rhaenyra's side because she's been doing good stuff and proving her worth or whatever. I mean, I would think a new male heir, the only person a new male heir would make, the only person this would complicate things for would be Daemon. I mean, he would have to maybe go on the offensive or do something crazier. Otherwise, I'm not sure why that would create more conflict. You'd think it would resolve a lot of things. That dude has grayscale. Yeah, that's what I thought too, but wouldn't grayscale advance more quickly than this? I mean, he had kind of a little infection on his back in the first episode. 6 months later, it spread to his finger a little bit, but you think it would have advanced faster than this. Hold on, we have a super chat. Hold on. Green Entertainment, thank you very much. I thought this episode was okay in my opinion. I hated that they used the Game of Thrones theme instead of their own. Me too. They should have their own theme song. It was lazy, and the little girl and the king was creepy. In a good, because these are a time weren't exactly the nicest. Yeah. I mean, look, I understand them using the theme song because Game of Thrones was the biggest pop culture phenomenon in the world, so they're gonna want that connection. That's why they also have the Game of Thrones name in the title. It's kind of like a subtitle. It's like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. That wasn't necessary. It's not like everyone isn't going to know that this is in the Game of Thrones universe. It's not like anyone's not going to know that. But they gotta make absolutely sure. I think it's unnecessary. I do wish they could get their own theme song. But, I get it. I don't think it was lazy. I think it was about brand awareness. Alicent been pimped out by her dad, basically. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I would like to know what Alicent thinks about this. Because, I mean, she's playing, the actress is playing it very, just ambiguously enough that I'm not sure how she feels. If she's just going along with it to please her dad, or... I mean... The scenes with her and the king are not as uncomfortable as I feel like they would be if Alicent didn't want any part of this. So I'm not sure what's going on in her head. I would be very interested to find out how she feels about this situation. The actresses admitted that they played up a love angle between them. Yeah, there we go. Again, I think it's mostly on Rhaenyra's side. Not sure if Alicent reciprocates that, but we'll see. Corlys has the second most powerful house in the realm. Currently, his proposal was sound, and thus starts the civil war, seeds planted here with the rejection. Yeah, but 2 years until he could bed the girl at 14. You know, I mean, I would hope that it's not just about how quickly he could bed his new wife. I mean, Alicent being... yeah, 16 or 17 according to Jason Sant, who... I mean, it's still creepy, but it's less, a word that I can't say because the video would get flagged, probably. I'd like to think that wasn't a part of it. Because it seemed like he does, you know, enjoy speaking with Alicent. I mean, I think he thinks they have a connection. But still, man, it looks like he was, he did not waste any time, you know, taking her to bed. Because I mean, if they've already got a kid a year and a half later. Who knows? Looks like the king made a decision based on what he wanted, not what was best for the realm, and yeah, that's not going to be good for anybody. I'll watch the show when I finally go back and finish the last 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, which may be never. I don't know. I think you could. I think you could watch up to season 7. I think, you know, opinions vary on that. I was still really enjoying it up until season 7. You know, season 8. Yeah, I can't really defend season 8. I mean, there are aspects of Game of Thrones season 8 that are not without merit, but it really wasn't what it should have been. And up until then, I mean, yeah, you could tell where the cracks were forming, but I was still on board until I was still on board at that point. Season 8, where you can't really defend it anymore. Hold on. Green Entertainment with another super chat. Thank you. It's creepy AF, but these were times in a world where plague was everywhere. There are a-holes like Matt Smith, etc. It's like the Northmen, where the main lead was a violent murderer that even kills children. No, I get it. I get that it's the way of this world. It doesn't mean it's not uncomfortable. I don't know. Maybe it's because like the whole, you know, the grooming thing has been in the news a lot last couple months. It's a very hotly debated topic, and I don't know. Maybe it's just it was on my mind, so I'm focusing on this a little bit more than I would otherwise. Mighty Morgan Plow a Stranger. I'm already watching She-Hulk and reviewing it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Yeah, that is that's not been a fun watch so far. Building up the actual Dance with Dragons Civil War. At what point in the timeline does the Dance of the Dragons Civil War happen? Because, I mean, supposedly this show is all about how House Targaryen destroyed itself. So how much build-up are we talking here? Like, how far away in the timeline is that actual event? Rumors that I make Allison's second son be Damon's? Oh boy. Allison is 14 at the start of the show? Oh, I thought she was older than that. I'm taking the Rings of Power bullet for you. Well, don't give me too much credit. We're not there yet. You know, if I'm going to cover Rings of Power, I don't know, I might have to find a different way to do it. Because I already tried doing 2 long-form videos a week. You know, I could do it, but I realized that I could do it that way, but it wouldn't leave me the time to cover anything else. So, yeah, I'm already kind of committed to doing that with She-Hulk. And right now I'm streaming House of the Dragon stuff. So I don't know. I might have to, if I'm going to cover Rings of Power, which I mean it seems like that's way too much low-hanging fruit for me not to. I'll have to find a new way to do it. Maybe I could do like some kind of quick take review, where I could give my just raw reactions, and like not like have to script anything too heavily. And do it in such a way that I could put the videos out quickly and not have to like spend an eternity on them. I don't know, we'll see. The book is structured like a history textbook, highlighting important events per year and whatnot. Oh, okay. Oh, so presumably, like every episode is going to skip ahead, like 6 months or a year or 2 years or something like that. All right. What are they going to do with the younger characters though? Because those actors are going to have to start aging up with the characters, aren't they? Kid is about 1 when the Civil War starts, and that kid is king at 16. Oh. How knowledgeable are you about Lord of the Rings? Not very. I confess I've never really been a Tolkien guy, which is why I've kind of declined to talk about Rings of Power, because, I mean, there are people who know way more about it than I do. I mean, I love the Peter Jackson trilogy, that's about it. I saw the Hobbit trilogy, wasn't as big a fan of that. But yeah, I haven't read the books. I don't really know much about Tolkien's works. So if I were to cover the show, I'd probably just be talking about it as a show and not how it relates to Tolkien lore, which apparently they've all but thrown out. So I can't imagine it's going to be faithful, but other people would know how faithful it is or isn't a lot better than I would. Wait till you meet Alicent and Viserys' second son. Oh, boy. No, he cut his finger on the Iron Throne. Oh. Well, that's weird. So he had an unrelated infection on his back in episode 1, and now a cut on his finger in episode 2. Yeah, no, I remember he cut his finger in episode 1, and I guess that got infected. Is the king just not a healthy guy? It seems like he keeps having these health problems. Just one after another. I thought it was like all one issue. Apparently it's separate. Huh. Who would you cast as the Fantastic Four in the MCU? I don't know. I like the popular choices. John Krasinski, Emily Blunt for Reed and Sue. Thing? I don't know. Supposedly it's not an origin story, so when they show up, they might already have their powers. So I guess Thing could be done with a voice actor or a motion capture actor or something. I don't really have any thoughts. I do know who should play Johnny though. I forget his name, but he was Hangman in Top Gun Maverick. The second I saw that movie, I was like, holy shit, Marvel needs to call this dude up, because this guy is fucking Johnny Storm. That's Johnny. Oh my god. I can't imagine anyone better. He looks like Johnny, he acts like Johnny. That's Johnny Storm. 150%, that guy. I forget what the actor's name is. Glenn something, I think it was. You planning to watch Stargirl Season 3? Watch it? Yeah. The war takes place over 30, 40 years, and the event is about another 16 years from going full force. Oh, wow, so they're going to have an issue with the younger actors not looking the part anymore. If they're advancing the timeline like a year, like 6 months to 2 years in each episode, eventually, those young characters are not going to be so young anymore, but the actors will still be young. So how are they going to do this? Glenn Powell, there you go. Glenn Powell, that's Johnny Storm. If I'm casting that movie, he's who I'm calling. They recast everyone in episode 5? Did they? Or is that a thing that happened, or is that you just messing with me? Alicent and Rhaenyra have older actresses. Oh, okay. A lot of the young actors and actresses don't live long. Oh, yeah. Well, don't spoil it. I haven't read Fire and Blood. Or it's just Alicent, Rhaenyra, and Corlys's kid. Just the kids. Alicent, Rhaenyra, and the kids who have older actors. Yeah, well, all right. Well, that's going to be weird, because, Rhaenyra is the closest thing we have to a main character here. So if they're recasting the role after a few episodes, that's going to be awkward. Do at least one live stream on an actual good show which you actually enjoy. Alright, well, maybe I will at some point if I find a good one. Didn't you see the trailers? They recast them. I don't know if I've seen all the trailers. I didn't know anything about recasting with older actors, though. Maybe there's I don't know, maybe there's a new one out there. And don't get attached to any characters or dragons, that's all I can tell you. Yeah. So, the show's gonna be a bloodbath, basically. Yeah, okay. Probably seen Rhaenyra's older version in the trailers. Alright. Well, yeah, I mean, if it's the story of how House Targaryen destroys itself and ends up with the last two surviving members, like, hiding in another country, so yeah, I'm not expecting a happy outcome. Probably everyone dies, pretty much. Maybe one or two of them survive. Yeah, so I guess even for Rhaenyra, it's not going to turn out so well. Joffrey spoiled that one. Alright. Livestream Stargirl? Yeah, potentially. We'll see. You know, it all depends on what kind of content is out there right now, because these videos do take me a while to make. You know, that's why I'm live streaming this, because it's something I can do fairly quickly, and without a ton of preparation. But with the normal reviews, those things take me a while. Those things take me an unfortunate amount of time to make, because I'm writing the episode. Writing the video, that takes a while. Shooting it, that's an all-night process, and editing it, that's another all day or all-nighter. So it takes me a couple days. That's, you know, I don't, because when an episode airs, I don't spend like 2 or 3 days, you know, slacking off, because I'm working pretty continuously on getting the video out there during that time. It just takes me that long to make it. Yeah, I wish I could get these things out a lot faster, but, you know, my process is what it is. There's a cannibal dragon, huh? Oh boy. Alright, well, we're at the bottom of the chat room right now. So, if you got any pressing questions you want to ask me, get them in now, and then we can wrap this up. Sorry, my throat's bothering me tonight. Of course, it was fine all day, and as soon as we start the stream, it goes to crap. Do you smoke weed? I do not. Never touch the stuff. Did you see Prey yet? No. No, I have not seen Prey. You know what? Honestly, I canceled my Hulu subscription. Once Seinfeld moved to Netflix, I really didn't have a reason to have Hulu anymore, so I just I canceled that. So if I were to watch Prey, I'd have to, you know, sign up for Hulu again, which I kind of missed the boat on reviewing that one, because I decided to do Bullet Train instead, which is probably a mistake if I was looking for views, because Prey seems more like a bigger topic of conversation. So miscalculation on that one, but you know, I would have had to sign up for Hulu again, and I'm not gonna do it now. But I don't know, maybe when that new Hellraiser movie comes out, so I might want to do something with that. Did you see Nope? Yes, I did, and I reviewed it. Review is on the channel. And do you get the feeling that the Abomination would be a joke because they ruined the reason why the Abomination can't go back into his human form? I recommend pray and never smoke or drink. Yeah, I don't do either one. I don't know. The jury's out on the Abomination. I mean, he's already, completely different than the last time we saw him. Of course, it has been, like, years since then. There's certainly still space for them to ruin him. But I got the feeling that they might be setting him up to have a role in the Thunderbolts. So, maybe there's rules about what they can and can't do with him? We'll see. Favorite X-Men storyline? Favorite storyline? Oh, God. I don't know if I have a favorite storyline. I mean, Grant Morrison's run was all one big storyline. I really liked that. Probably one of the best runs there have been. I don't know if I could pick a... Damn. I don't know if I could pick a single storyline, honestly. I mean, Dark Phoenix Saga is always going to have a special place in my heart because that's kind of how I was introduced to the X-Men as a kid. One of the first X-Men stories I read. So that one's up there. Would we regret watching Wakanda Forever? Well, time will tell on that one. I mean, the trailer looked good. I was happy that they're ditching the comedic, jokey, silly tone for that one. Thank God. I'm looking forward to a movie that takes itself seriously. I don't know how they're going to do this. I don't know. All we really have is a teaser to go on right now. There's no way to know so far. And all right. Nothing really going on right now. Are all the superpowered people randomly appearing, like Titania, for example, that get mentioned in the article mutants, you think? I don't... Right now I'm thinking no. I don't know. If it were me, I'd probably wait until the X-Men get a movie to really make the proliferation of mutants a thing. If I had to guess, and I could be way off on this, if I had to guess, they'll probably like not give origins to all these people, not really say, oh, this is how I got my powers, this is how that person got my powers. They'll probably just have people with powers show up and just not bother explaining it that much. Because it looks like they're going to slow burn the X-Men, which means they're probably going to slow burn mutants, too. Alright. I think that's about it. You probably wrap this up a little bit earlier tonight. Nothing else really going on in the chat room here, so, yeah. They opened the door with Ms. Marvel. I'm leaning yes for the simple reason that Stan Lee started the whole point of mutants in the meta of it was that they didn't have to do origin stories. Yeah, we'll see. I don't think they're going to be in a big rush to introduce the whole idea of mutants. But you never know. Never know. There's an unusual amount of attention being paid to foreskins in the chat room, so that's probably a good place to end it. Wow. Okay, thanks to everybody for tuning into the live stream on this very hot, very effing humid Tuesday evening. Thanks to Green Entertainment for the two super chats. Once again, if you enjoyed this live stream, want to listen to it again, or if anybody else wants to listen to it, it'll be set to private once the stream stops, and then it'll be moved to the live streaming channel in the next day or two. Link for that is in the description box. Go sub to that if you haven't already. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. Even people asking about my foreskin. Kind of weird, but you know, you do you. Yeah. Thanks for talking to me. I guess I will be back same time next week to talk about House of the Dragon Episode 3. So we're still doing this week to week for now. That may change once... I reserve the right to change my mind about that. And that may change once Rings of Power starts, because I may have to cover Rings of Power somehow. And covering 3 shows a week in one format or another might be difficult. We'll see. Cross that bridge when we come to it. Again, thank you very much. Thanks for talking to me. Thank you for the super chats. I will be back, presumably, next Tuesday at 9 p.m. to talk about Episode 3. In the meantime, we've got the next episode of She-Hulk starting 3 a.m. Wednesday morning is when that drops. So hopefully I will be able to keep getting those up on Sunday. So watch out for that. Thank you to everyone who subbed off the She-Hulk videos. I think we've gotten over 400 extra subs from those. So the goal for the channel for 2022 is 45,000. Right now we're about 900 and a little less than 900 away from getting that. So She-Hulk may get me over that finish line, so that'll be cool. So again, thank you very much. Have a good night. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.